Welcome to Free Spirit Talks. I'm Addison
And I am Kendall. So as we allow people to start coming in and just make a little hello, let us know that you're there with a little heart or a thumbs up or something positive there, or a sad face that our voices are not sounding the best that they could possibly sound, as I'm at least overcoming.
Yeah, so am I getting over that.
So yeah,
that cold that's been going around.
But what we have decided to do is we've decided that since both of our practices are really focused in on manifesting the desired life that you want and living, as we have been saying, like an orgasmic life, the more broad version of that would be a free-spirited life, a life that is just following your heart, following your joy, following your desires. And how do you manifest, create that life? So we've been asked a lot of different questions about, what does Free Spirit Talks mean?
Yeah, and really it is about living more authentically you, being unapologetically you, following your bliss, following your heart, following your spirit in general. And so really a free-spirited life is going to be what you decide it is for you. What my free-spirited life is not going to be the same as Kendall's free-spirited life. Or is your free-spirited life? And so it a little bit is what you define it to be, but it is not living in constraints of what others believe you shouldn't be doing, or anyone's belief systems about you. It really is about you doing you.
It is about being unapologetically you, living by your truth, by, if you really want to, change jobs, if you think that you should get married, but because all of your friends are getting married and all your friends are having kids, but there's just something inside of you that's like, I don't really feel like it right now. It's just not something that's in alignment to you. That's okay. Living according to your desires, following your purpose, which is really truly your belief structure inside, and living according to that. That is being in free spirit, in that flow. And the more you can really tap into that heart center and move forward on that, that is where you really get into the groove of knowing that, blessings are coming down on you and that everything's going to just line up exactly the way it needs to be.
Yeah, it really is being in that alignment and allowing I think in our society today, it's easy for us to get hooked into other people's belief systems. And like Kendall mentions all the time on her conscious coffees every morning, that really a belief system is just thoughts that we continually have. And so, yes, there's our real, true, core belief systems and that is following your free spirit. That is being free-spirited. But then there is that looking at the belief systems that you're holding that really aren't yours, that are somebody else's. There are belief systems that you've taken on throughout your life, but really kind of getting to the root, to the core, spending time with yourself and going what is it that I truly believe? And then following that, even if it is against what other people believe you should be doing. And I think that both of us know that pretty well, because I think there's a lot of times that I watched you have to kind of fight against what other people's belief systems are about kind of what you talk about and what you do. And I know I fought when I was, as a sex and relationship coach, when I have been mainly focused on that, that's what's come up for me, really following my belief system and my own belief systems instead of falling into other people's. So would you agree with that? Or?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I look back at the time frame, and I know I just talked about this, but totally different conversation here. When you look back on, because I think that part of living a free-spirited life is also overcoming fear, pushing through.
We have to push through fear?
We have to push through fear. We have to push through fear because there's...
But what happens if I want to hold my fear?
Tough shit. Let it go. If you want free spirit, you have to let it go. You have to, it's like you get everything that you want when you let go.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly when it happens. But we just hold on and we hold on and we hold on. And we hold on for all these wonderful reasons, all these reasons of responsibility, and we're concerned and we're worried and we need to plan, we need to do this and we need to do that, and so said that, and I need to have this degree and this credentials, and I need to live here, and I need to drive this car, and I can't go there, and I can't do this. All, it's like blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit.
Yes.
It's all bullshit. And what that is that's the ego holding on to, not allowing us to move forward in love, in certainty, and faith. And instead it's throwing out worry, which is just a root of, fear is the root.
Yeah.
Fear is the root there. And when we allow fear to rule our lives, then we pretty much don't have any blessing. We don't have any blessing coming down. It's all
we
of a sudden,
squish our blessing.
We squish our blessings, and then it's like you wake up in the morning, and this is a small example, but you wake up in the morning and you stub your toe and you get toothpaste on your shirt and you spill your coffee, and you back out of your driveway too quickly and you almost hit the guy walking the dog right behind you. You're like, oh, like that. But you feel this overwhelm, this anxiety, and all this stuff, and it just leads from one thing to the next to the next to the next. And it's because you started your morning, probably you woke up and the first thing that went through your head was,
I have to go to work. It's early. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. Can't I have 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes.
Right.
Another 5 more minutes.
Or, oh man, it's the 15th and this bill is due, or I don't quite have enough money for this. It's Monday. I have to go back to work. Why can't it just still be the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the big bosses are in town this week. Ugh. Like that. All this different stuff. It's the negative, just one little negative thought. If you start your day with a negative thought, it's like just this spiral.
Yeah, it spins out. It really does.
Everything. Which, that's why I'm always preaching about start your day with a prayer of gratitude. Just the other morning, I almost got out of bed without doing my little prayer, my gratitude prayer. And I had my feet off the bed, and I'm like, oh, crap, I didn't do my prayer of gratitude. And I flung my feet back in underneath the covers, and I pulled the covers up, and I laid there and I closed my eyes, and I was just like, okay. And I said my little prayer, my gratitude prayer, and I just started focusing in on what I wanted to have manifest in the day. And none of it was worry focused. None of it was on the things that I don't want to have happen.
No,
and
you're hopefully not manifesting that.
No, we aren't doing enough of that. But it's, it's really putting in the attention to creating what we actually want, what we desire in that free-spirited life, instead of the control factor of fear coming in and going, oh, but you can't because of, and those beliefs, and it's the beliefs of, are you worthy enough? Can you really have that? Is that going to be socially acceptable? That is one of the biggest things. Will people still receive me and connect to me if I live according to my own heart?
And the truth is, really, the people who are meant to be with you, the people who are meant to be in your life, if you are living on purpose, if you are living in your core, from your core, if you are living in a state of freedom, then they're still going to be around. And if they're not, then they're not your people. They don't want the best for you.
They may have been your people for the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm getting hot.
Getting hot in here.
No. They might have been your people on the front side or for that point in time. My shirt is stuck. But they're, just because they're your people in the moment doesn't. It's like, think back. Are you still friends with the people that you were friends with in junior high? Or in high school at all? How many? We might know. So we're probably connected to people from high school or college days, but in general, that's the people that we really talk to them on a day-to-day basis. And then here's the next thing: if you are talking to the people that you were talking to in 9th or 10th grade, are they a representation? Are they really living the life that you want to live, or are they actually still held in 9th and 10th grade? I look at people all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, you never graduated 6th grade. What the heck? Like, you're stuck in the drama of elementary school. You're stuck in the drama of high school. You're stuck in this, and you wonder why. Sure, they might drive a really great car or live in this awesome house and, take the 1.5 trips a year and all this different stuff, but they're walking around and they're just zombies and they're dead. And in my opinion, free-spirited living is not about existing. It is about living.
We're either growing or we're dying.
Right.
And that it really is the case. We're growing or we're dying, and a lot of people out there, they're not growing. They don't have that desire to keep growing. I'm actually working on an article that should be coming out sometime this week, but it's about constantly growing and always being hungry for more in your growth process. And that is free spirit living. That is allowing your soul and your purpose to keep expanding and growing, because I don't know about you, but I do not want to be the same person in 5 years than I am right now.
No.
I want to keep growing, because then if I'm not growing, then I'm boring. Then I mean, that to me, that's not a turn on. And I want to be turned on to my life. I want to always be kind of pushing the envelope while also being content. A part of being a free-spirited living is not just always pushing, it's pushing. And yet at the same time, to me, but it also is being content in where you're at. Having like a contentedness at the same time of going like, I'm in gratitude for where I'm at. Yes, I want more. Yes, I'm manifesting and growing and moving towards more, but also having at the same time that opposite side of going, I'm living in the now too, and I'm loving the now. So I think we can talk about like growth and changing and making sure that you're always moving forward, but also being in the loving the now. And that's living a free-spirited life as well.
4 or 5 years ago, I wrote an article. I don't even remember what the heck article it was, but I wrote this article and there was this one quote in there that I love. So I'm going to quote myself. All right.
This You're going to quote yourself.
Quote from myself. But it really hits the point. It is,
hi, ego. No.
Hey. But no, it was very, very simple. I
quote yourself.
But I'm going to quote myself. Okay, I'm going to quote myself. It's, I want for nothing and I desire everything.
Yeah.
I want
That's
for
one
nothing,
of my favorite quotes that you've got.
And it is because that is really, truly about, you know, we're living in the moment. We're very content with it. We're in gratitude for the moment. And there is nothing that I want. Everything that I want, everything that I need is taken care of. All my needs are taken care of. Everything that I want is here. It's accessible. It's here. But there is so much more to desire. There's so much more to desire. You know, I have like lists. Well, I don't have lists. I have piles of paper and files of pictures and all this different stuff of different things that I want, you know, places I want to go, things I want to experience. And that's normally where my desires lead, is like things that I want to experience, not necessarily material stuff. But, you know, it's really about whatever those desires are for each one of us. Some of us might really, I remember those days of wanting the castle in the sky and this style house and this kind of car and this much money in the bank and, you know, and to be able to go to this kind of restaurant or that kind of restaurant. And I still love doing all of that stuff. But it's not high on the desire list because it's more of a lifestyle thing now. So it's more just there, where experience is what has attracted to me. So it's that. So it's really about, you know, what is the free-spirited life for you? For you.
I think, and I know for me, I think experiences are high on my desire list. When I write my desires, I think that's probably number 2, but I think probably number 1 for me when I think of my free-spirited life and my desires is more, my number 1 would probably be connection and relationship. And I'm not talking about intimate relationships. I'm talking about all my relationships and how, like, the love and the connection. And then with that, I have my number 2 would probably be experiences and mixing those two together. So that, I mean, but I think that is living the free-spirited life when you can tap into what you really desire. And like you said, I mean, for you, it's top is experience. For me, top is a connection. For somebody else, it could be, you know, financial. But it's tapping into that and then running with that and stepping in, even if it's scary, even if it's not socially acceptable. And
it's going to be that. I mean, that's probably a really great point there, because I think that anytime we start out on the path of tapping into our intuition, because it has been so programmed out of us to not pay attention to our intuition, to just ignore it, to shun it. It's shameful almost. Like, that's just not the logical way to go about things. That's not being smart if we listen to our intuition. But what you have to, when you do that, the first thing that comes up is like this nervousness, it's excitement, it's nervousness, it's fear. There's all this different stuff. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to do that. Like, oh my gosh, what's everybody, probably one of the very first thoughts that goes through all of our heads is, what's everybody going to think?
Yeah.
Number one, what's everybody going to think? And that is a connection thought, because we're all designed to connect to others, and we need connection. And if we are getting, shut down from other people, then it's going to make a decision for us to do it or not to do it. So to be able to push through that and be able to grow through that basically is really big. But when we have that fear, we're also, how much, if you say that you have faith, and then you step away from your desire based on fear, how much faith do you have?
You don't have faith. At that point, you really don't have faith. And I think, so there is and I'm going to bring up the song quote, that I'm talking about. But there's a song, and I was listening to it one day, and the song's okay. It's not my favorite song. But there was one line in it, and I went, oh, wow, that hit me. Like, it was a moment of like, wow, that hit me. Because it says, there comes a point, the basics is there comes a point where your fear has to face the God that you know. Now, where I use the word God, and that means whatever your spiritual beliefs are, but really there comes a point where if you truly believe you're being taken care of, or that there's a higher plan or whatever, then if you truly have belief, then there should be no fear. There should be no worry, because you're taken care of. Somebody's got you, or your higher powers got you, or whatever. So really, you're correct on that point of that. If we are in fear, we are leaning against our belief. We are leaning against belief, and so that is a moment, I think, because it's easy to go like, oh, well, we should just be in belief. That's really easy to say. But I think when we notice fear coming up, that's a moment to go, and I'm not, am I really leaning into belief here? Am I practicing what I really at my core believe, or am I leaning into this egotistical crap?
And it's easy to have faith, to have certainty, to push ahead when everything's going great. It's really, really easy to do that when everything seems to be lining up in our favor. But when something isn't lining up in our favor, that's when you really have to stand firm in your faith to move forward, because even though it might appear that this negative thing has come in, this blockage has happened, you're getting told no, right? God is telling you no. Is he really telling you no? Well, that's still to be seen, because if you actually just hold firm to that path and keep asking, over and over again, to bring it, like if we bring it into like a biblical sense, in Jesus' teachings, he's talking over and over again about just keep knocking. Yeah. Keep knocking, keep asking, keep knocking, keep asking, keep knocking, keep asking. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is he saying? God will give down the blessings to the person who is consistently asking to be blessed. And the way we ask to be blessed is, number one, ask. Ask, knock.
Actually ask.
Yes, actually ask. Actually ask for what you want. And when it comes through, you don't be afraid to just stand it and go, no, that is what I need. That is what I want. That is where my desire is. That is exactly what it is. And then as a challenge comes up against you, to hold in the face that this challenge is there to basically direct you toward your desire. So it's either going to, what it's going to most likely do is eliminate other things that aren't needed that are actually in the path. And push you into a higher vibrational point so that you can actually match what you are asking to receive. Because a lot of us are vibrating in a much lower frequency to what we want, and what we want is not going to change its vibration. It's up to us to change our vibration.
Yeah, we have to change our vibration.
We have to grow to it, not it decrease in vibration to us. So, that fear is there. If you have a desire that rises up and there's a sense of urgency behind it, it's a nudge. It's a good kick in the rear to just kind of move towards it, and then just hold on that desire path and keep asking and knocking and asking and knocking and just move forward towards it. And no matter what comes at you,
keep focused on
Pause,
it.
breathe, pray. Pause, breathe, pray. And and don't pray nicely. Yeah. Hold on. You're like,
where are you going? Where are you going with this? I'm curious.
Don't pray nicely. Don't pray nicely. Praying nicely would be the way we are taught how to pray.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but this is the truth. If we are taught how to pray.
Speak your truth, please.
Nicely.
Share your free
Like,
spirit.
Heavenly Father, please protect me. Please do this. Please do that. Please, please, please.
Yeah.
All these different things. And we're asking in like this meek fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's nothing wrong with being meek, but how meek was Jesus when he commanded down a miracle? When Moses parted the seas,
He was not like, please,
no,
God, part the
bam,
seas.
bam, right? And it's funny, this morning I was actually reading, and because I read every single morning a little bit, and I was reading.
Read?
Yes, I can. I read, I journal.
I know you do.
Music.
Okay. I'll be as much.
But I was reading in the book that I'm reading, and there was this, and I didn't know that it was coming up today, but here it is. And I don't remember the exact story. I wish I had the book with me now. But there's a story about I believe, anyways, it doesn't matter. This guy is given, it's one of the kings, and he's going into war, and he's given, like you could say the hammer to like really slam down on the ground. And and it said, here, hit the ground, and as many times as you hit the ground, this is what basically the blessings that God is going to give to you. So he wants to overcome his enemy, right? So he half-asses it, and he goes 1, 2, 3, like that. Well, the message here is that you only went 3 times. You should have gone 5 or 6, because if you had actually called down the blessing in that 5 or 6, that you would have actually been overcoming your enemy. Instead, you will only overcome your enemy 3 times, and then you will be defeated by your enemy, because he just he gave a little bit. His whole heart was not into his desire.
Gotta throw it out there.
Right.
You're saying you gotta throw it completely out there.
There's no meekness to it. There's no, there's nothing wrong with tossing tables a little bit every now and then. You've got to rattle your own cage. You've got to rattle the cages around you to make shit happen. And that doesn't mean that you're being rude and mean or, really pushy and bossy, running over people. What it means is that in your prayer, don't be afraid to ask with certainty about what you want, and asking and being direct and saying, this is what I need. Don't go, oh, well, I don't know. I think
it would be nice if you gave me.
No, this is it. Boom. Very straight. It's like, do you want more water? Yes. Okay. Do you want sight? Yes. Do you want money? Yes. Do you want love in your life?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So it's like, be direct, be clear about it. And what we tend to do in our prayers is we dip around and we go, I don't know, so we say that we really want something, but when we pray for, I really could use an extra $500 this month. So you go, Lord, I really could use an extra $500 this month. I don't know where it's coming from. And what are you actually doing? You probably feel a lot of like uncertainty in your core, and you're just like, oh, and you're more caught up on the fact that you don't have it than I'm going to. The correct prayer here would be, Lord, thank you for the $500 that you're bringing to me in the next week.
Yes.
Don't know where it's coming from, but thank you for the $500 that you're bringing to me in the next week. And then walking out into the world and just saying it with that certainty in all your actions.
Having that energy, because there's an energy you give off when you are in certainty with something.
Yes.
When you know it's coming to you, you stand taller. You literally put out a vibration that is completely different than when you're like, okay, I know, I think God's going to give this to me. That's a totally different energy. So yeah, it is that. And I think also you mentioned kind of prior to that, like the fear and what are other people going to think. You're going to rattle cages. You're going to rattle cages. And you are going to feel that push, because if it is something that is truly worth it, you are going to feel that push against you, because you're stepping into a whole different vibration. You're stepping into a whole new life, possibly, depending on what you're trying to move towards. That yes, you're going to feel that push, and it is to continue to push through. Even, in my experience, I think that the moments where I'm like, I'm not sure if I can keep going, and you continue to push through, those are the moments when you get the most blessings. You find that a deeper level of like being a free spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have to be daring. You have to really step out and be willing to risk, to potentially lose, but don't put your focus on the potential loss,
because then you'll lose.
But to know that there's no such thing. We're all alive, therefore we're risking. Every single moment is a risk. Every single moment there's potential to lose everything, including our life. Nothing is certain. Every single moment is a gift. It's not guaranteed at all. So if you just go with that run right there, then why wouldn't you, if no moment is guaranteed, why wouldn't you risk everything to live every single breath?
Yes.
And it's worth it. It is worth it to live every single breath, but that also means that you have to get right with rattling cages. That also means that you potentially could screw things up and fall down and get hurt and lose something. And only in that moment is it really going to feel a loss, because in 6 months from now, that loss probably was a gain. So it's like, those movements forward is what you have to look at on that path, and just moving forward and not doubting. And if you do doubt,
because we all doubt. We all doubt.
Because you do doubt.
We all doubt at some point.
As soon as you realize that you're doubting, allow yourself to love yourself and realize, hey, I'm human. It's okay. I had a moment of doubt, but I get to choose again. I get to choose again. And it comes back to making that conscious decision every single time, because we are going to fall down. We are going to get angry. We are going to be judgmental. We are going to be fearful. We are going to have doubts. We're going to prematurely stop ourselves. We're going to make the wrong decisions. We're going to do all these different things. And as soon as you can notice and become, I always use the word witness, as soon as you become the witness to that thought, that feeling, that action, make a different decision. Choose again. I mean, that's I love the Course in Miracles, because that's kind of like what it.
Yeah, choose again.
It's all about choose again, and that is the really big.
Be in forgiveness. There's always miracles happening. You can always step back in. You can always I agree with that. And then you really think about it, because I mean, there's times when I think, I'll have some doubt come up, and really, do you want to get to the end of your life and go, I am so happy that I did not risk. I'm so happy that I've got my little home, I'm glad I did not risk doing yada, yada, yada. Well, no, we don't want to do that. We don't, or at least maybe some people do. I do not. I do not want to get to the end of my life and go like, I'm so happy I didn't live a risky life. I don't think most people want that. Now, I think it takes a whole lot of courage to step into the opposite of that. But I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to get to the end of my life and go like, well, I'm so happy that I didn't really show myself. I'm so happy that I didn't really live what my spirit wanted me to live, or how my spirit wanted to live. And the thing I don't think we have mentioned is that I think we're talking about a lot of like, almost, it sounds like very like serious stuff, like you have to be serious, you have to like be spiritual. No, like that's not exact. That's not what.
The true risk is actually being playful. The true risk is letting your joy out. The true risk is smiling when everybody else in the room is serious and just so sullen and so boo, like that. And you come in, and because you're feeling good, you're all lit up.
You let yourself be.
Instead of shrinking, you go, bam, here I am.
Or when your friends go, how are you doing? And you go, instead of going like, oh, it's okay, life's okay, because you know that their lives maybe are not going
Yeah.
The way instead of saying that, going like, no, life is amazing.
I have heard this statement like 3 times in the last week, so I'm going to share it right now.
Share it.
So when somebody asks you, how's it going? And the answer is better than could be expected, or better than I could expect, or better than, something on that line is like, I have heard that so many times over the course of the last week. I'm like, what are you saying when you say, oh, better than to be expected?
It should be shit. And it's only like sort of shit. That's basically what you're saying. And you're claiming that. You're owning that. You're going, I want more of that.
Right. And the other one that I've heard a lot of, and this is through the years, and this is like my number one like pet peeve. If you ever want to piss Kendall off, this is what you say to her. When she says, how are you today? Or what's going on? And you say, not much. You're going to see my face go, really? Like, I want to hit you. I'm like, okay, not much
Lots
this.
is going on. Lots is going on.
Not much this.
Don't
Let me
hit
not
me.
much you. Like, this isn't going to hurt much.
Lies.
Not much. Then you have no right in the next whatever I'm spending with you to bitch about anything in your life, because you are stating that there's not much going on. So yeah, there you go. If you're one of my clients and you see this and you ever walk into my office or are on the phone with me and you say not much, now you know how I truly feel no matter what. I'm actually just sit there and be like, I'm actually going, I'm going to hit you. Because it's so true though. We have to claim in those moments what we want to be feeling, and it really is. It is in the power of your words, but it's even more so in the power of your energy and moving forward on that. Just taking those steps. So if you're saying better than could be expected, now unless you just went through a death, now okay, that's an acceptable statement if you are within a mourning process.
Yeah.
But if this is your normal go-to phrase, like not much, then you need to check yourself right there, because what you're actually putting out into the world is that there isn't a whole lot going on.
Shouldn't expect much.
My life is shit. I can't really expect much. And yeah, I am a note of expectation here, because that's kind of like, what are we talking about? If we're going to live a free-spirited life, if we're going to command down blessings, if we're going to ask for our desires to be met, for God to support us, then what we have to do is we have to have a healthy expectation for that to happen.
Yeah.
And I actually dislike the word expectation, because there is so much there's a positive expectation and there's a negative expectation. That's a whole nother
video. Let's not go there. But yeah.
But when we have to expect, like a child expects to receive presents on Christmas morning. Yeah. And that is the healthy expectation there. It's enthusiasm, it's excitement, it's turn on, it's just this like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. It's
when you are expecting and you are in that, and it is playful, it is fun, it is enjoyable. Yeah, it is. It's flow. That's flow right there. That is being free-spirited. That is flow. And if you're not stepping into your play, which I will say that's not like my go-to, like I'm not like, that's something I think I still work on, like the play aspect, but it's consistently, shut up. You know too much. It's continually stepping into that play though. It really is. It's continuing to step into that flow and allowing yourself, and noting when maybe you are falling into, our serious adults. When you're falling into that, I think that it is continuing to check in with that stuff that's going on within you, and making the next right choice, making the next right decision to step into a different level of you, to step into love, to step into your spirit, and just keep going there, because we don't just decide, okay, I'm going to live a free spirit life, and it's there. We are continuing every moment of every day. We are making a decision to either step towards the life we want or step away from the life we want.
And every time we make that decision, every time we state either in in our prayer, our meditation, our repetitive thoughts, the things that we're journaling, the things that we're speaking when somebody asks us, inquires with us, what we're listening to, what we're reading, the songs that we listen to, all this different stuff affects that path. And the free-spirited life, it doesn't happen like that. It takes time for things to manifest, to create, to actually come around. But as soon as we say, this is what we want, everything in the universe goes into full rearrangement to make it happen for us. And this is when when our belief, when our desire come together, that is where the miracle happens. It is literally not even, I've heard like the 10-second miracle rule, but at the same time, it's not even 10 seconds. It's like a nanosecond. It's like, bam. It really is that when you are in alignment to this desire, and that is what, be in alignment to living a free-spirited life, be in alignment to being yourself, that it is a switch. It takes time. Yeah. It takes so much time to push that switch up, to turn it on, to turn yourself on because of the fear. But once you hit that switch, it's on. And then everything else just goes into this beautiful creation process. And all of a sudden you have new people coming into your life, new experiences coming into your life. All of a sudden you'll start seeing certain words, certain things pop up. And the more you embrace that, the more you're being guided and directed by the divine, the more you're actually being led towards that free-spirited life. And you're really tapping in and just leaning into it. And that's how you really live a free-spirited life, is to constantly come back to that connection, and then looking out for all the different support things that are out there, the signs.
Yeah, because we are always, even if we're not recognizing them as steps or things that the divine is giving us, everything in our lives is coming to us for a reason. And so we can either use it, or we can not be in gratitude. And I include the stuff that we perceive as negative in our lives. So if you say, I want to change careers, and all of a sudden you get fired, well,
you said you wanted to
change jobs. You wanted to change jobs. You said you wanted to change direction. And so you asked for it, and the divine is giving it to you. And so there is a level of...
It's scary. It's scary. It is.
Yes.
Even when you work for yourself. Like 2 years ago, I said that I wanted to change my practice around, and I was changing things around, and I'm doing it again. So I'm like, but this time I'm like, I'm bracing myself, because I know that there's going to be like this little hiccup there. And what it is it's self getting in alignment. But when you ask for something, like 2 years ago when I said, I'm changing everything, all of a sudden I had like probably a good 3 weeks where I felt like I had been just basically cast into outer darkness. Mm-hmm. Like all of a sudden I'm like, hello, does anybody see me? Yeah. Where do all my clients go? Where's anything happening? It was just like crickets out there. And for me.
I've been there. I think a year and a half ago, I had made like a change in my path. And I remember going like, oh crap, everything just stopped. Like that, everything just stopped. And it was crickets, just like you kind of described. And I think that this is when you just need to keep stepping in, because this is almost like a testing ground of like, okay, do you really want what you say you want?
Yes.
Are you going to claim it now?
Now claim it.
Now claim it.
Tenfold. So if it's like the new job, because I think there's a lot of people, and we're at the new year, and there's a lot of layoffs, and there's a lot of, people we all want to make more money, right? So that's a great place to kind of focus in on. So if you said, I want a new job in 2018, and then all of a sudden, January rolls around and you end up with a notice from the big bosses that they're downsizing, and you might be on the list for the downsizing. But if you were towards the back end of 2017 saying, oh my gosh, I hate this job. I need to find a new job. I'm not getting paid enough anyway. I'm spending 2 hours commuting to and fro, all this different stuff. Well, here's the time for you to go, okay, this is not a bad thing. God is actually giving me exactly what I asked for in this moment. And now what I have to do is really pick up the ball and run with it. So now is the time to go, what is it that I really want in a new job? Really, truly, how much money do I want to make? What does the job environment look like? What are the people that I work with? What's the mission or the basis of this new company or career path? Right.
So and follow this.
It really is about, we both know somebody who just went through this. Yeah. And I know that some of the things that I saw him working through was that he looked at like company mission statements, and he was going through, like, he was really looking at all this different stuff, because even though he was looking at going back into corporate America, he didn't want to just take something just to cover the bills. He wanted to be the most in alignment to that as he possibly could be. So he actually sat down and took the time to do the self-reflection work, to tap into his intuition, into his core, into his heart, to find what he wanted, and then called that in.
Yeah, because if he was to step in, and if we step into like that mode of scarcity of like, I just want something, or something's better than nothing, and I think we do this in a lot of different ways outside of even just jobs and things, like relationships. I hear that all the time, like, well, something's better than nothing. It's better to have somebody than to have nobody. Well, then the universe is going to just give you somebody. Yep. Or something, or you're going to live in scarcity. You're never going to get what you really, really want, what you really desire, what you really are, your soul wants. Your soul, at a soul level, you want. But I do think it is a stepping in and kind of getting very committed to what you desire, and not accepting anything but what you desire. And that can be hard. That can be hard. I said that and I went, whew. I said that and I felt that, actually. I felt that. I felt that one.
It can be hard, but it's also exciting.
It's exciting. And that's the thing. If you're not, so there's a couple things that come to mind when you say that. Yes, it should turn you on. There should be, yes, you should have, not should, I don't want to shit on everybody, but fear might. Fear might. You're crazy. Fear might rise up in you. Fear might rise up in you. But does it turn you on? Does that fear go like, it's like, but, like if you have that like, but that would be fantastic, then that is a turn on, and stepping into that turn on. And then also when something like a job loss or something like that does happen, because you might have some fears, some more darker, I would call darker kind of emotions. I don't like calling them negative emotions.
Low grade energy.
Low grade vibrational motion. Yeah, low vibrational stuff come up. Then it's okay. Miss Princess and the Pea. But if you have that stuff come up in you, it's not that you go like, oh, I'm going to ignore that. But you go, I'm going to focus in. I'm going to not be held back by that. I'm going to focus in on the gratitude. I'm going to focus in on the love. I'm going to focus in on this turn on over here. Because I don't ever think that like ignoring our emotions is good. It's going like, I see you fear. I see you doubt. I know you're there, and I'm going over here. Mm-hmm. So acknowledging it, and yet at the same, because I think it's easy to say, oh, we'll just go into fear, but acknowledge it. Okay, yes, I see you. I see you, I feel you, and I'm going to choose this. I'm going to choose to notice the gratitude in this situation that might feel really hard. I'm going to notice the love. I'm going to notice this, because that is what's going to continue to push you, and that's going to give you that motivation and that energy to continue to step into your free-spirited life, whatever that is for each of you. And I would love it if some of you, because I see there's quite a few people on here, it'd be great if some of you would say like what a free-spirited life is to you, because you're all going to define your free-spirited life a little bit differently. And I think it is not just living in I think we can feel free in one area. It really is becoming free and connected to our spirit in all areas. So I think that's our careers, because that is really where we spend a lot of our time in our society. We spend a lot of time working, or some of us play, because that's our work. Our work is our play. But making money, making an income, maybe. But also like, living fully free and spirited in our relationships, in our sexuality, in our personality. And again, I think it's a continual process of like peeling the layers of the onion back, because I know that when I first started living more free spirited, I'm still pulling stuff back. I mean, you're continuing to go, oh, well, there's another layer, which means that there's more fun, there's more out there, there's more growth there. Like, I love personal growth. It turns me on. It's fun. Digging into my shit is fun. It is. But like continuing.
Shift in the shit.
Shift in the shit.
That's the statement of the day.
Yes. But continuing to like pull back those layers and discover deeper levels of yourself and your desire and what you want. And to me, that is a free spirited life. It is not going, oh, but I'm free in my, in my career, I'm free in my relationships, or I'm living my spirituality in, at church. That's
Which
not
is
it.
perfectly fine.
That's fine, but
it's just
having it all connected. It's you can't be free spirited and only have it in like this much of your life.
You can't compartmentalize where you're free spirited.
No, you have to do it all over the place. You have to do it all over the place. Back me up, people. Back me up. Come on, I want to see some hearts on that shit. I'm not seeing any hearts. Come on. Okay, I'm alone. I'm alone out here.
I'll jump on my phone. I'll give you a heart. See? You got it. Shifting the shit from Michael.
Yeah. No love. No love.
No love.
I love myself. Thank you very much.
That's good.
But yeah, I think that is really living a free spirit life. We can't compartmentalize. We have to let it bleed into all areas of our lives.
Yes.
Because I remember a time in my life where I really was like, okay, I'm jumping into my career. I would call it career. My passion. Jumping into more of my passion. And I went, oh, we're not going to share that over here. And the truth is, the universe went, yeah, you are. Tough shit. You have no choice now.
I did it for years.
It really is like you have.
I hid my articles, my website, my teachings, my coaching practice from friends and from family up until about 3 years ago, when my beloved brother-in-law accidentally stumbled onto one of my most risque articles out there.
Yeah,
shared it with me.
That does happen.
Shared it with me because he thought that I would enjoy it. Did not realize that it was my article. And then I had to message him back and go, did you skim down to the bottom and see the picture and the name on the bottom? And then he also went, oh, my sister-in-law tagged me on Facebook, shared my article, and started sharing my stuff. And then I went, oh my God, Grandpa just saw that.
Yes, I remember the first time my family saw my shit. And I think it was actually like, it was probably my risque article on the vulnerability of oral sex. Yeah, I think that's the one that they read, and I went, oh. But yeah, it is. I mean, it's like living out loud. You have to start, in order to be free spirited, you have to live out loud. You can try to hide. You can. And eventually the universe will continue to kick your ass to either the point that you go, okay, I'm done, or just stuff starts kind of coming into your life and where you don't have a choice.
Right. And once you get a good
it's
enough,
easier to just make the choice yourself.
It is
easier, believe me, trust me.
Take the nudges on the front side.
Oh, fucking fun. Thank you for the image, Michael.
So it's easier to take the nudges on the front side than to wait for what I call spiritual baseball bats.
Yeah.
I'm a big time, number 3 person, and I've gotten to the point over the last 25 years of having my fair share of spiritual baseball bats, and where I realized that, if I pay attention, normally the first one, sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but if I have 2 things happen, I always try to act on that second one, because I'm like, oh my God, the third one's going to be really uncomfortable, and I don't want to experience that. So I'm going to just, what do I need to do? This is what I need to do. I'm doing it. And that way the lessons are so much softer, and you can even almost avoid the lessons if you just take the very first inclination, urge, that sense of, because there's something special about, like, you just know when you know. I don't even know how to say it. You know when you know. And there's things that you want to do. There's personality. There's a personality that you want to be. There's a person inside of you that you truly, truly want to be, and you're scared to be. And I think that as we kind of come down on time here, is that in all, what we're all really wanting is to be our true self, and we're scared shitless to do it. And the people that we look to, the people that we love, the people that we really, go, oh man, I wish I could be like that. What are we saying? We're not saying, oh, I wish that I could have that person's, maybe we are to a degree, like we want maybe their lifestyle, whatever. But truly, when we look at somebody, we're looking at their certain characteristics, certain things that they're doing. And most of those people are just being themselves. They're not afraid to just be unapologetic and authentic and just be themselves. And there is so much beauty. I think that's like one of the biggest
That's magnetic.
reasons. It's magnetic.
It's magnetic when we are just being ourselves.
Why do we love reality TV shows so much in this day and age? Why is YouTube such a humongous thing in this day and age, where people are running around with their, their phones and their GoPros, and they're doing goofy stuff, and they're just having conversations, they're playing video games, and they're making more than what the majority of people, make out there. And here they are, they're just being them. They're getting paid to be them. They are not living according to anybody else's rules. They're only living according to their own rules. And the more each of us steps into living according to our own rules and being true to ourselves, that's free spirited living. That is really truly the desired life. That is the orgasmic life. That is following your bliss. That's following your heart. That's following your desire. That is, it's really just going, that turns me on. That's what I want. Go there. Follow that. But with that is going to come all this doubt and fear, and you got to just like, no.
Yes.
That's what I want.
And so that's really what we're going to be focusing in on in Free Spirit Talks, is being at your core, being playful, so I think that these talks are going to be playful, powerful, profound, passionate, because this is us being us. This is our free spirits. And so we're going to encourage you to go live your free spirited life, whatever that looks like. And go live out loud.
Yes, go live out loud.
Go live out loud.
So with that, I think we'll probably bring this to a close. We're going to be doing Free Spirited Talks twice a month. It'll be on a Sunday. We are going to have, ideally, what our goal is in the very near future, to be bringing in somebody to have with us, so a third party. So we're going to be having guest speakers on with us. Sometimes we will be together. Sometimes we'll all be in different spots. So who knows what it is.
We were together today, so you get us together.
That's right. But we're going to be doing one talk a month where it will just be the two of us, and the other talk where we're going to be having a guest speaker. And those guest speakers are going to have all different kinds of backgrounds. It's just going to be everything that you can possibly imagine, but it is going to be covering spirituality, abundance, health, sexuality, relationships, goal setting potentially,
Some of we're going to push buttons, we're going to push boundaries, and yet we're going to have fun, and we're going to respect whatever, the viewpoints and everything. So everyone's going to have different viewpoints, and so we're just going to kind of be playful and fun and just kind of experience and learn from each other.
Yep.
So that's
just
cool.
opening up the conversation channel. So with that said, if you're watching this and you have something, a message that you really would like to have shared, or something that you would really be called to, that you think that we should be sharing on here, we're open to, you know, lots of different conversations.
Yeah.
So if you are somebody that would like to either be part of Free Spirit Talks and be a part of our group here, where you're part of one of the months that we're doing, or there's just something that you would like to hear, share in the comments, message one of us, message Free Spirit Talks on here. We both will be checking in on Free Spirit Talks.
Mm-hmm.
We answer back all messages on there, and make sure that, you know, help us get this out there.
Please like, share, comment.
Yes. Send us the love by sharing this talk and future talks, and, you know, so that we can get more people. Followers is the key, and we are very excited to be doing this.
Yes. So. And if you haven't checked out our individual coaching pages,
yeah, that's right.
She is at www.kendallwilliams.com. And I am at www.addisonbell.net. And we always have great events going on. We always have some pretty awesome coaching packages and opportunities and programs. And we have online courses. So definitely check us out. And we look forward to really seeing you on the next Free Spirit Talk. And we will post the topic usually a couple days before, and so you can always plan out, so you can be on, or you can catch us later. So again, like, share, comment. So, and it has been a pleasure.
Yes, it has been a pleasure. You guys have a fantastic Sunday.
Bye, guys.